A general walks into a room, sits down, opens a folder. Inside is a plan to murder American citizens. He doesn't flinch. He signs it. Then he sends it up the chain of command. This is not a scene from a movie. This happened in Washington, D.C. in 1962, and the document still exists. You can read every word of it. So why has almost nobody heard of it? To understand what happened, you need to feel the year. It's 1962. The Cold War isn't just a news story. It's a physical terror. Soviet nuclear missiles are pointed at American cities. Cuba, 90 miles off the coast of Florida, has become a Soviet outpost. And in Washington, powerful men are losing sleep. President Kennedy is under enormous pressure from his military chiefs. They want war with Cuba. They want it now. But Kennedy keeps saying no, not without a reason the American people will actually believe. So the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the most powerful military commanders in the entire United States, decide to give him one. They call a meeting, they close the doors, and they start writing. The document they produce is 15 pages long. Its title is Operation Northwoods, and its purpose, stated plainly, in plain government language, is to create a justification for war with Cuba. Not find one, not wait for one, create one. Here is what they actually proposed, not rumor, not interpretation. This is from the document itself. They wanted to blow up an unmanned American drone plane and tell the public Cuba shot it down. They proposed sinking a U.S. Navy ship in Guantanamo Bay and staging the funerals of fake American soldiers who never existed. They discussed shooting Cuban refugees trying to reach Florida and blaming Havana. They talked about exploding bombs in Miami, in other Florida cities, even in Washington, D.C. itself. And then, the one that stops you cold. They proposed taking a real American passenger flight, swapping it mid-route with an identical drone plane, and detonating it over international waters. So there would be no survivors, no wreckage, no witnesses, just a list of names. A nation in mourning, and a reason to go to war. Real passengers, real names. Fake crash, real deaths. The generals didn't call this murder. They called it, and I'm quoting, the elimination of American casualties. We could blow up a U.S. ship in Guantanamo Bay and blame Cuba. Casualty lists in U.S. newspapers would cause a helpful wave of national indignation. Operation Northwoods, 1962. Now, you might be thinking, this had to be one rogue general, one man who went too far. A lunatic tucked away in some basement office who nobody took seriously. Here is the truth. Operation Northwoods was signed by General Lyman Lemnitzer, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the single highest-ranking military officer in America. It was formally submitted to Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara for approval. This was not a fringe idea. This was official policy, drafted, reviewed, and pushed upward through the most powerful military institution on Earth. And now, stay with me, because here is where the story turns. Kennedy read it, and he said no, flat no. He rejected the entire plan, refused to move forward, and weeks later removed Lemnitzer as chairman of the Joint Chiefs. One man, standing between that document and the American people. And then, 7 months after he fired Lemnitzer, John F. Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas. I am not telling you those two things are connected. I'm just telling you they both happened. Here is the part that should disturb you most. Northwoods wasn't an accident. It wasn't a momentary lapse of judgment inside a room full of scared men. It was part of a larger framework, a documented, deliberate American strategy of manufacturing crises that had already been used before in other countries, against other governments. The CIA had already run false flag operations across Central America and the Middle East. The playbook existed. Northwoods was just the first time they tried to run it on American soil, against American people. Which means the real question isn't whether this could happen. The real question is, how many times has it already happened? and the documents just haven't been declassified yet. Because Northwoods was sealed for nearly 40 years. If journalist James Bamford hadn't uncovered it in 2001, this conversation wouldn't exist, you wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. What else is sitting in a government filing cabinet right now, waiting for someone to find it? Operation Northwoods forces a question that most people don't want to sit with. If the men trusted to protect you once sat in a room and designed a plan to kill you, not foreign enemies, not criminals, but ordinary people boarding planes and walking down streets, then what does that say about the word trust? What does it say about every official story you've ever been handed? The plan failed, not because the system caught it, not because a journalist exposed it, not because of checks and balances or congressional oversight. It failed because one man read it and said no, one man. That man is dead. And the men who wrote the plan, most of them died with full military honors, buried in Arlington Cemetery, draped in American flags. So the next time someone tells you that governments don't do things like this, that it's too dark, too coordinated, too evil to be real, you tell them about a 15-page document, signed, stamped, declassified. The conspiracy isn't the theory. The conspiracy was the plan. If you like this video, the government already knows. Might as well hit subscribe too.